hosted a recent audit show. I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Newsmakers. With me this hour is Mayor Paul Medany of Deptford Township. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Jill.
Let's talk about your annual audit. This is something that's done on a yearly basis, but talk to us about the reasons that you do it and what you look for on this municipal audit.
Well, it's a requirement by the state, so yearly we have to do an audit by an independent auditor, which every municipality hires. And the important thing about the audit is it shows compliance with all the state rules and regulations and financial standards. Our audit came back, which we're very proud of this year, came back with no deficiencies, which means that all of our departments were in compliance with all the rules and regulations.
So when you look at this audit, what are some of the things that have to be addressed on an annual basis?
It's financial statements, it's financial practices, how money comes in, money goes out. There's all standards that we have to follow. So that means that our CFO is complying with all those regulations, our township administration. It audits every department, the police, the construction, the court system. It covered the whole township operations.
Now that this audit is back, you did have compliance in every category, but let's talk about the revenue side. Beyond property taxes, where does a municipality get money? Because yours is a little bit different because you do have additional revenue streams because you do have ratables in your community.
We do, actually, and we're very business ratable oriented because Deptford Township has over 700 businesses. So the bulk of the property taxes come from the businesses as opposed to the residences. So that's very important. But there's and every municipality is based on property taxes. So we have other revenue sources like a hotel tax, ambulance fees, construction fees. We took excess surplus funds from a couple entities. So there are other ways that we bring money into the municipality.
So that's all part of this, but let's talk a little bit about the spend side because, of course, that's an important component of every municipality. You bring in money, but you have to spend money and things like public safety, of course.
Well, sure, and that's always the challenge is how much you spend and controlling spending. There's certain fixed costs. Our police department costs $6 million a year, but that's public safety. We have to spend that money to provide public safety. There's other appropriations that we do. We have to spend money on picking up trash. Public Works Department picking up leaves. Street lighting alone costs $350,000 in Deptford. There's gasoline, that's over $300,000. So there's a lot of expenditures that people don't see that everybody just takes for granted, but we have to spend that money.
When you look at this audit on a year-to-year basis, is it a way to potentially say, there's a place that we could save money. Here's a place where we may be able to share services.
Absolutely, and that's why it's so important. The audit points out and studies everything that we do financially, and then, of course, through the budgeting process, we identify all those expenditures and revenue sources also.
Let's talk a little bit about some of those potential cost savings. There's the idea of shared services. There's the potential idea of cuts. Where do you look at the specifics when it comes to an audit?
Well, nowadays, and we've always done this and it's even more amplified, we look at everything. We look at every dollar spent. But one big way we saved money was through attrition. We didn't lay anybody off in Deptford Township, but as employees retired or left for other reasons, we didn't replace them. The challenge is not to let services suffer. We have to maintain services while losing employees, which is extremely difficult.
As the mayor and as a governing body, do you take a look at this audit and go through it department by department and say there may be potential ways where we could find some cost savings within each department? We
do. The administration and the township manager ask each department head yearly and quarterly, and we have monthly department head meetings, as a matter of fact. And that's always the topic of conversation. Where can you cut costs? So every department last year cut their costs by 10%, which is a difficult challenge because they're running thin right now.
And we just have a short time left, but does this also address municipal debt?
It does address municipal debt. Our municipal debt in Deptford Township is actually very low. In Gloucester County, we probably have one of the lowest debt ratios of most of the towns. Deptford Township's municipal debt is around $18 million. We can borrow up to $100 million, but Township Council chooses to keep that $18 million level because it's very low and we don't want to indebt the future.
Thanks so much.
You're very welcome.
We've been talking with Mayor Paul Medany of Deptford Township. I'm Jill Horner for Comcast Newsmakers.